How's it going, everybody? And welcome back to the Dry Brook Esopus Valley. This is episode number 3, and today we're going to be doing some work on the western edge of our area here that we have sort of already completed. Well, I say completed in a very loose manner because we've only got a few meters or a few hundred meters outside of the rail gauge actually scenic in most areas. But the way I'm going to continue to do this build for the most part is just work my way west along the closest areas to the rails, the most important areas, and then a lot of the stuff that's sort of background elements and things like that, I'll probably do mostly off camera or between episodes, or maybe I'll sprinkle some of it into each episode, but a lot of the detail-heavy stuff happens around the tracks, right? So that's what you guys are here for, to watch on my videos, so that's what I want to film. I'm not going to film a lot of the boring stuff that's in the background. So today we're going to be doing a little work on this, I guess this creek bed here. This is not the Dry Brook. We haven't gotten to the Dry Brook yet. This is actually a very wet brook. There is no name for it at the moment, but we're doing some work here today. I kind of wanted it to feel a little bit more like a floodplain and swampy sort of area. It kind of reminds me of some places that I went fishing when I was a kid, along the actual area that is inspiring this route. And I should mention, actually, speaking of off-camera stuff, the roads and some of the infrastructure things I've been doing off-camera. Like you'll notice there's a highway off to the left of the screen here. I put that in between episodes because I didn't think it was really too relevant to include that in the video process. Like, you see it, you don't need to see me actually lay down that road and talk about it. I'm talking about it now. So I'm gonna leave some of that stuff off camera and do some more of the infrastructure, road laying and that sort of stuff, just sort of off camera, I guess, for the most part. Like I said, we'll do some of it on camera, but the reason I mention that is because this highway off to the left I'm using as a scenic divider. So once we get past the left of that highway there, we're going to be getting, so we're going to be heading west. That's the westerly direction. That is going to turn into all farmland. I've got plans for that. There's going to be a transloading facility about another mile outside of this area here. I don't know why it was just slipping my mind for some reason. But that's what we're going to have actually in the next episode. I've already started working on that, so that's already kind of in progress. But as I said, there's going to be some things that are going to be done off camera. Actually, that's not what I was saying. What I was saying was that I'm using this as a scenic divider. So everything to the east from this highway is pretty much downtown city stuff, and then west of this highway is going to be getting into the more suburban and rural detail-y type things in this route. And I've got a lot in store for it. I'm really getting pumped to be working on this build because it's just been a lot of fun so far, and I'm trying a lot of different techniques, a lot of different things, and using newer assets, and I'm just liking the way that it's coming along so far. The lighting is great. This is still Tane, by the way. I'm not building this in Trainz 2019. I might port it, or I probably will port it to 19 eventually, but right now I'm still working in Trainz a New Era. And I think it looks pretty good for what it is. The new lighting engine in 2019 I think is pretty nice. But I'll continue to build in Trainz a New Era for a little bit. Mostly because that's what like a lot of my assets are compatible with right now. I'm gonna wait for some more PBR assets and more parallax and stuff like that to come out for 2019. Anyway, I guess I should talk about what we've got going on the screen here. So in order to make this feel a little bit more swampy, I'm adding lots of reeds and lots of pond scum and rocks and stuff like that. Those are some of my favorite assets to use in these areas, and I hope I didn't overdo it too much with the reeds. These don't seem to be the type of reeds that really like heavily impact performance, like some of the other assets that I've used in the past. These ones seem to be doing all right, so I guess we'll see when other people start to test it. But I didn't want to go too crazy and kill frames in this area, so I pretty much just kept it to right around the bridge where your camera is going to be, where you're really going to see it. I didn't do too much of that out of view because it's really not necessary. I mean, it's great, and if this was going to be a route that I was just planning on using myself, I probably would take the time in heavily scenic areas that are just all along this riverbed, just because that's stuff that I like. And I don't know, who knows, maybe I'll come back and scenic it some more towards release. I mean, there's going to be so many passes of detailing layers and things like that I'll probably go through each area and detail it, and then come back a few weeks later and detail it again, and think of more things, and it's the way I work is just, it's always like a constant work in progress. You guys don't always see it in each video, but I revisit a lot of areas and touch them up off camera and add extra little details here and there, whether it be birds or road markings, street signs, trackside details, like little stuff just to bring a little bit more life into each scene. And I'm really happy with the way that this one was coming along. I really like the view from the highway where you can kind of see this exposed trackage area. So now, actually, I'm jumping into this. This building here, this station, is for the passenger excursion line, and I did reskin that, and I'm pretty happy with those results. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about the skinning on that station there, because I like it. It's very New Yorky, upstate sort of feeling for me, and tourist liney. So I don't know. I based it off of a couple pictures. If the colors look a little bit off, let me know, but I'm pretty happy with it so far. I might tweak it a little tiny bit. It is a jointed rail asset that I think has been included in many routes at this point. But yeah, that is one that I have access to. And as I said previously, I'll be doing a lot of reskinning in terms of like buildings and basically whatever other assets I feel like I need to customize specifically for this route. And that will be stations or signposts and industries and that sort of thing. So what we're starting on in this area now, we're done doing the scenicing build over by the swampy area. I wanted to focus a little bit more on this area adjacent to the tourist excursion line. And I thought it'd be a good idea to put a Railfan park in there. I kind of had some other ideas for this space, maybe like some more shopping and stuff like that, but it just seemed appropriate to have a little bit more, to add a little bit more parking for the excursion line, maybe when they're doing special events and that sort of thing. And then also to put a couple train cars on display and do like a little park sort of thing in the area, which comes out pretty nice, as you'll see in just a moment. I start using some techniques that I've used, I guess, on the P&B. Lay down a piece of track, figure out what engine you're gonna put down, and then what you can do is, so you don't have like a whole bunch of excess track on either end, you can put down some invisible track. So I put down the engine to see what the length of it was, and then I'm dropping down spline points and putting down some invisible track here. And the thing that kind of stinks about this is you have to eyeball the straightness of the track, so to get it just right. So I start with this, since this is going to be kind of like the centerpiece of the area. I thought like a cool steam engine would be here, and one of you guys have pointed out that this is the exact same steam engine that I put on display in the P&B, which is probably, you know, shouldn't be too surprising because I don't have a whole lot of steam engines installed in the game. And again, this might be kind of a placeholder. What I really wanted was like a New York Central diesel engine. You know, it really is going to come down to what I can use. If it's a JR asset, then I can use it, or if it's on the download station, I could use it. Other third-party stuff is kind of iffy. I'd have to get permission to use it. So if this happens to be a third-party asset, I haven't checked it. I might have to change it out. And I did place off camera. I did place a caboose to the other end of this park here. And that, I think, actually is a K&L caboose, so I'm probably gonna have to replace that with something else. But here is the part where I'm starting to outline where I want the parking to be. And you guys know me, I always add parking lots all over the place. Nothing super special about that. I think I might cut the camera at some point so you don't see tons of it. But using some of these road markings, road outline things here to sort of outline where pedestrians could walk. I did want to include some walkways for pedestrians to get from the station over to the park and back and forth and that sort of thing. So I put some lines on the road, some crosswalk lines, and stop signs and stuff like that. A few pedestrian crossing signs, and it was just kind of hard to figure out exactly like what the right width of these things is supposed to be. So I really just eyeballed it and adjusted here and there. I think it's sort of the right dimensions, but it's really hard to tell in this game, and the rulers can be kind of iffy, so I don't know. I tend to just eyeball lots of stuff. And now you see here, I finished outlining the area with a fence and sort of creating a perimeter that we're going to put the park in. And now I'm outlining the parking grid itself. And I didn't go too crazy with this. That's it. Those are all the parking lines. So I kind of figured that there's ample parking right next to the station. This would be kind of like auxiliary parking or parking for people that just want to go to the park and maybe not go to the ride on the train. Another thing I should mention, and I didn't do it during this episode, I did it after this episode, but sort of in the middle of the next episode, I guess. I did add some extra tracks to the tourist excursion area. I added another switch track and another stub-ended track, and I figured that they needed a little bit more space, maybe to run around trains or to store train cars that they're restoring and engines and things like that. So I did add a few extra tracks there, which I think I'll try to show in the next episode if I can remember. It's not really part of the next episode, it's just something that I did off camera. And there you can see the caboose that I put down. It looks really nice down there. And at this point, I'm just spending some time just throwing down the regular old scenic elements like trees and shrubs, grasses and stuff like that. I didn't want to go too crazy with this because I didn't want it to look too unkempt or whatever, you know. I wanted it to look maintained and nice, like the type of place that you would go want to walk around on your lunch break, or, you know, whatever other time you want to just go walk around a park and just look at some trains. Slowly I'm working in some more details here, picnic tables, some more grasses and stuff like that. And in just a moment, we're going to start adding some people. As I said, I really wanted to add some more people to this map just to keep it sort of alive. And it's one of those things that's so far out of my mind sometimes that I just can't remember. I don't know why. Adding people in this game just is not at the forefront of my thoughts. But there we've got a guy looking at the display thing, which was made by the Backshops guys, LTG, and it shows the displays and talks about what the different aspects are. And this little scene here with these kids, I just thought back to my childhood and thought about going down to Steamtown in Pennsylvania with my brother and standing in front of a big steam locomotive like that and getting my picture taken. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to have a scene like that. And that's going to bring us into the cinematics. I've been really enjoying this build a lot, guys. I hope you have as well. And with that in mind, I will see you in the next episode.